be beaming, I be booming down that block. Everywhere you go, you know they know I'm hot.
What's up? What's going on, my good people? Welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into this video. As you can see from the title, this is going to be a Q&A, and I know that I did a Q&A around February for my birthday, but it's May and a lot's changed since then. So there's also a lot of new people here on the channel and a part of the GP fam. So welcome. And, I just wanted to take a minute to see if y'all had any questions, if you missed anything, if you're curious about anything. I want to be able to go ahead and answer that for you. So I got some questions on the community tab. I'll be looking off to the side because I have my laptop. And I'll be asking and answering all the questions. All right, so let's go ahead and kick things off with Mariah. This is my roomie. Okay, so she said, what is the one thing that you miss most from home? Not your parents or your friends. So again, if anybody's watching for the first time, I relocated from California to Ohio. The one thing I miss most from home that is not my friends or my parents would be the weather. It would be the weather, hands down. California weather is top tier. I'm not even going to front about that. It's been some rain and it's been cold since I moved back in March. So definitely the weather. Does this relationship feel like you're happily ever after? Excuse me. I'm sorry, y'all. I would say yes. I could do the rest of my life with my honey for sure. Are you coming out with more seasonings? The answer is yes. So when I started Good as Can Be, my goal was I started with 5. I was like, I want to have at least 5 seasonings. I was like 5. And then, who knows what'll happen after that. But I'm working on a jerk seasoning right now. And then for my 5th one, I don't really have any ideas or like flavors I want to go with, but I do want to explore spices. So I want to go to different spice shops. Maybe I can go to different spice shops in different states and just taste different things. And I want to come up with something very, very unique for the 5th one. That's all I know about that so far. I don't have any ideas yet though. Next question from Mariah is, what is something that you absolutely want to change about yourself? I would say I'm really working on, this is something that I've even addressed in therapy. I'm really working on processing what somebody has said to me. Because sometimes I say things that I later have to come like retracted. I have to apologize or take that back because it's not really what I meant to say. But like my emotions drive me to say certain things, and so that's something that I'm working on. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. So that's something I'm working on and that I absolutely want to change about myself, because I may need a minute to process and wrap my mind around what was just said. And I need a second so I can give myself, I want to be able to offer my genuine response to that and how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I would change about myself. And then for my partner, I wouldn't change anything. I love everything about her. I do. I love everything about her, even the things that drive me up a wall. And I know I drive her up a wall too. Next is Samaria. Samaria said, hey, Rhonda, happy Friday. What advice would you give to someone who is trying to make the transition from working for corporate America to being an entrepreneur? That's a good question. So I made the transition from corporate America into entrepreneurship in December. I didn't have a plan. It was more like a spiritual thing, to be honest with you. I felt like that God was basically asking me to take a leap. And so I did. So I really didn't have a plan. So I would say have a plan. Have a plan. What are you going to do? What's in place? And if I'm being honest, I believe that working a 9-to-5 is easier than entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship can be 18 hours every single day. Even if you do love it, it's a lot of work though. And to me, a 9-to-5 is more structured. Like if I go into my job, I know exactly what I have to do every single day. And then once the clock strikes 5, I'm on my way. It's not like that in entrepreneurship. It's around the clock. It's constantly. There's things that you can't even anticipate, to be honest with you. It's a lot of work, but it is very rewarding. So I would say have a plan, have a plan that's solid, have a solid plan. Also too, I think that 2 things could be true at the same time and be simultaneous. I think for a lot of people, they want entrepreneurship and feel like they have to give up a 9-to-5, but you can have both. So whether you're continuing to work your 9-to-5 full time or part time, and you could still be an entrepreneur as you have your day job as well, and also don't forget that a 9-to-5 can actually be financing what it is you're trying to get off the ground, it can be very hard to get in the green and actually have a profit as an entrepreneur. That's tough. And also too, I'm not gonna lie, as an entrepreneur, you're chasing people down for money. Okay, you're chasing people down for invoices and stuff to be paid. So it's not all flowers and roses and candy over here. I'm not gonna lie, but I do think that it can be worth it. I do think it can be worth it, but it's a lot of bumps in the road. So I would say get you a mentor. Also, if you can, somebody that is doing what you want to do and implement systems. Get a team if you can, when you're able to afford that. Because doing things alone is tough. Because I do everything alone. I'm a one-woman team. So it's tough doing everything alone, not going to lie. So yeah, if you have the resources, if you have the bandwidth to have a team, definitely have a team as well. Because that'll make things a lot easier and you can focus on the things that need to be done. So that's my advice. Don't be afraid to take the leap if you have a plan, but also be mindful that you can still do both at the same time. You may not necessarily have to give up your job completely. And maybe if you reframe your frame of mind is that your job could be financing what you're trying to get off the ground. But I don't know the situation. Somebody may have come into a buku amount of money, may have got a huge investment. So if you have that capital behind you, that definitely makes things a lot easier. It can, I should say, but it's still a lot of work. It is a lot of work. The next question is from Jennifer. Jennifer says, what did Jennifer say? She said, do I go to brunch often on the weekends in my new town? And how is that if you do? Not really. I haven't really stepped out and gone to a bunch of places for brunch, but I would like to. Would you consider doing some content on brunch spots or other restaurants in the area where you live now? Absolutely. I want to explore Columbus. People that I've met quite a few people since I've been here, and a lot of them were just really telling me how the food scene is booming, how certain types of food is on the way in different areas and pockets of the city where certain things are. So yes, there's a lot of few food places I want to try. And I would love to create content around that as well. Let's see. Would you do more collabs with other YouTubers in the near future? Yes. And I'm really hoping that being in the Midwest allows me to collab with people a lot easier. California is so far, it's far from everything. It is. Yeah. So now that I'm in the Midwest, it makes it a lot easier to get to, Chicago or Detroit or Indiana, Milwaukee, New York, Florida, Tennessee. And there's people that I know in all of those states. So yeah, I'm totally open to collabing with other creators. So yeah, hit me up, y'all. Let's do some work. Are you planning on continuing your podcast or focusing more on YouTube, your seasoning business, filmmaking, directing, your relationship? So am I planning to continue my podcast? I don't know. Rhonda's Real Talk. I'm not really sure. I've been thinking about it, praying about it, and don't really have a direction just yet. But I do have 2 or 3 other podcast ideas that actually, one of them focuses on my storytelling, which is something that I know that I love to share. And I know that y'all love that as well. And then the other, I may be doing something with another person. So I got some good podcast ideas in the pipeline. So I just have to continue to be patient and continue to just get these ideas, continue to really map them out. I don't want to just jump into it. So I've been really taking my time thinking about things. So I have some other ideas. So podcasting is not done. I don't know if Rhonda's Real Talk will resume as a podcast. It may, but as of right now, I don't really have a direction. So the next thing is God's Girl. I hope this isn't too personal, but it's coming from a good place. Was your decision to relocate due to your relationship, or is this a location that you previously considered? That's a good question. I've never been to Ohio before. Never been to Columbus prior to my relationship. So my relationship introduced me to Ohio. I've been to Cleveland, I've been to Cincinnati, spent quite a bit of time in Columbus. So my relationship introduced me to Ohio, but it is not the sole reason that I have moved. It is not. So even if our relationship did not work, I would still be here. Even if we would have broken up during the process of moving, I still would have moved. I had my heart set on making this transition, Again, something that I prayed about, thought about, asked a lot of questions, wrote out all of my needs and desires. Because, my needs have changed. My needs now are a lot different than they were 5 years ago. So I mapped out all of my needs, you know what I'm saying? Financially, creatively, all of these things that I wanted to achieve, right? And I really feel like that Columbus gives me a chance to achieve all of my goals. So is it great that my girlfriend lives down the street? Of course it is. I love seeing her. I love going to her place. I love her coming here. I love cooking for her, all of that. But again, I still would have made the move either way. I still would have moved no matter what. So yes, our relationship is the foundation of me experiencing the city, because I wouldn't have been here otherwise. I don't think so. Like, there was nothing that ever brought me to Columbus, or Ohio, any part of Ohio. So yeah, like the relationship gave me a chance to explore. But I love being here because there's, number one, I feel like I've outgrown California creatively. I think everything that I could have done, I have done. So I need to be somewhere else to inject some new energy and be in a new place where I can explore, which will inspire me to create new things. And there's other things that have been on the back burner that I just couldn't bring to California because certain things are oversaturated. And here there's a wide open lane for certain opportunities. So just creatively alone is reason enough for me to be here, to be honest with you. But besides that, I love the fact that I can take road trips. I love being so centrally kind of located where I can get around. There's so many parts of the country I haven't explored. So knowing that I can hop in the car and go, get to Detroit in 3 hours, that's very appealing to me. The fact that I can get to Chicago in 5 or 6 hours, that is extremely appealing to me. I can catch a flight and get to Toronto in less than 2 hours. That's very appealing from a creative standpoint, and just because I love to travel, but there's also a lot of parts of the country I've never seen. So now that I'm here, I can explore and take a deeper dive, in different parts of the country. So yeah, no, the relationship laid the foundation, and then there were other things that played a part. Also, a really big thing for me, if you're not aware, some people may not be aware, but I've talked about it. I have had an eating disorder. I had some health issues. Not even health, I had a health scare. It wasn't really an issue because everything was good, thank God. But I had a really hard time getting an appointment, and access to care. It was an access to care issue in California. It would take 5 or 6 weeks to get an appointment for a cardiologist, where I was able to get an appointment easily here in in Ohio. So honestly, I went and got a mammogram very easily the other day. I've been able to, it's just things have been a lot easier. So access to care is actually much better here in Ohio. And I'm sure it's a population thing. There aren't as many people as there are in California. So that's probably part of it. And as a 42-year-old woman, I care about my health and my wellness, and I want to be able to make appointments within a reasonable amount of time. That's very important to me. So I'm kind of rambling, but there's a long list of things, of why I'm here too. Also, I really enjoy the sense of community that's here, to be honest with you. The sense of community, people are very inviting, very welcoming. They want to share their resources. I'm not getting, you're from California, stay there. Nobody's treating me like that. People are very much like, if I can connect you from point A to point B, by all means, let me pull you in and do it. And I'm not saying it's not like that in California, but California is very cliquey. That's been my experience for the last, probably 6-7 years, just from a creative standpoint. It's been very, very, very cliquey, and that can get tough. So anyways, enough about that. It pretty much is what I'm saying is that I think I answered the question. All right. Next question is, Sandra said, Rhonda, are you still doing story times? Yes. Story times are still a thing. Story times take a lot of time to create, to think about a solid beginning, middle, and end, record, edit. It's a lot of time. They're still around. It's just that I'm still not necessarily stuck, just still working on the story. So story time is still around. Ariel says, did you and Steph ever get in trouble while being together growing up? This is really funny. If you haven't heard this or know the dynamic of our relationship, excuse me, I'm so sorry, y'all. I ate before I recorded. I'm really sorry. Me and Steph, I was a lot closer to her brother Brock when we were younger. And because of our age difference, me and Steph are 5 years apart. So, me being 10 and her being 15, that's a really big difference when you're young, So we weren't close when we were younger. We weren't close. me and Steph really didn't get close until I was about 24, 25. So yeah, so we didn't get into a lot of trouble because we didn't spend a whole lot of time together. And that's what's funny too, is that the elementary school that I went to was close to her parents' house. And I would go to my uncle and auntie's house after elementary school because I could walk to the house. And actually, Brock would come get me. We would go play, do all this stuff or whatever. We would walk to, their house or whatever. I would see Steph, but we didn't spend time together. But I was at her house a lot. I mean, I was at her house Monday through Friday, pretty much, when I was in elementary school. Because again, I was attending a school that was really close to her parents' house. And then, I would just hang out at my auntie and uncle's house until my parents got off work to pick me up. So I used to see her, but we didn't spend a lot of time together. And again, the age difference. So, me and Brock are like a year or two apart. So that's a lot different than being 5 years apart. So Jennifer says, now that you have moved, are YouTube, your seasoning company, your only jobs, or are you still doing filmmaking and writing? I'm always doing filmmaking and writing, producing. I'm always doing projects. I'm always putting myself out there for opportunities and stuff. So in the last vlog that I did, I was researching for a project that I picked up recently. So yeah, I'm always doing filmmaking, producing. Y'all, I've been doing some ghostwriting as well. Ghostwriting is really interesting. It's very interesting. Writing from somebody else's voice and perspective, because I have my writing style, but then I make adjustments when I'm writing for someone else. So I'm even doing ghostwriting as well. So sometimes not that I'm being inconsistent, I'm doing pretty good with putting my videos out, but when I'm not doing YouTube content, that's the stuff that I'm working on. Next question is from the era of Key. What's up, Key? How does your mom feel about the move? I understand this is your life and you are grown, but did she give her blessing before? 100%. My mom lit up and was just so happy that I'm living my life. Like she was so happy about the possibilities, and the things that I could go off and do. And my mom knows like how I felt about not ever living anywhere else. Like I've talked about that many times because it was definitely becoming a regret for me that I feel like it was a great opportunity for me to go off and go to a different college in a different state, when I was in college, but I didn't. I went to school locally and, it started to become a regret of like, damn, like I wish I lived somewhere else. Like I've just been in California my entire life. I've been doing things one way my entire life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's very different. Being here in the Midwest is different. So yeah, my mom gave me her blessing 100%. She did. Was she sad? Of course, my mom wants me to be closer to home and to see me more often, and we still talk every single day, every day. And that's always been the case. Me and my mom talk every day, multiple times a day. But no, she gave me a big blessing. I remember she hugged me and she was just so happy for me. She was happy that I'm doing something for myself, The next question is, Crystal says, Rhonda, I would like to know more about what you like to do. We know you like wine and cigars. Do you go to the beach, picnic, camp, all that kind of stuff? She gave a couple things I love to do, y'all. I love to make playlists. I love making playlists. Like that is my thing. I don't know why. It's just like I get into a mood or I hear a brand new song and I'll start a playlist and I'll start creating a playlist around that entire like vibe of that particular song. So I love making playlists. Y'all know that I love trying different things in the kitchen. I love audiobooks. I love listening to podcasts. I love road trips. I love board games. I love freestyling. I used to be a rapper in my former life, y'all. I was a rapper in my former life and I'm still very much connected to that. Like I'll just throw on instrumentals and just be walking around the house freestyling. And it's such a good exercise mentally that I don't know. I think it's something that I would do for the rest of my life. Like I freestyle regularly, like I just throw on a track, especially like I'll go on YouTube and pull up like J. Cole type beats or Drake type beats, whatever. And then I'll just freestyle. I'll get into the zone and it helps me. Like if I'm in a bad mood, freestyling helps quite a bit because I'm letting off steam and frustration. So those are some things that I really love to do. And also, y'all, I love talking on the phone. I don't know that's necessarily like No, yeah, the question was what I like to do. I love talking on the phone. I know people aren't into it, but I love talking on the phone. And that's why me and my mama are perfect for each other, because we love to talk on the phone, both of us, so we be getting it in on the phone every day. The next question is from Tammy. Rhonda, how are you doing since you made such a big move? I'm doing great. I believe that I'm doing good in every aspect, honestly. I don't feel uncomfortable. I don't feel out of place. I feel at home. I feel very optimistic. I feel, I don't know, just excited about possibilities. That's all I can really say. Like, it just feels like, I'm being led to so many big things, by making this particular move. So no, I feel good. I feel good. It's felt great to decorate, and create a space that feels like home for me, that feels comfortable. So I've been feeling good. I have, I've been on the up and up. I haven't felt homesick yet. I'm sure that'll come at some point, but I have not felt homesick. And I'm sure a big part of that is like, I still talk to all of my friends. I talk to my parents every day. Steph and Tasha called me the other night. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like talking to my friends, my family, like nothing has changed. I think that if the communication started changing with my friends and my family, that it probably would affect how I feel. But I feel great. I feel 100% grateful that I'm here and that I made this decision. It definitely feels like the right thing. It definitely does. The next question is, Tina McDaniel says, what is at the top of your bucket list? That's a good question. I got a couple things. All right. I would love to produce like a movie or a TV show with Queen Latifah. I would love to produce something with her. I'm a huge Queen Latifah fan since I was 11, y'all. Like, locked in, my favorite person, for real. Like, that's probably the one person I would fan out about. I'm not like I've seen a lot of celebrities over the course of my life. I've never seen Queen Latifah, but I feel like that I would just like I feel like I would fangirl out over her, for real. So like, I love Queen Latifah. So I hope that we get a chance to produce some type of project in the future. That would be great. Another thing on my bucket list is like, I really want to trace like my ancestors. I really want to trace things, see where I come from. Like, I know where my dad is from. I know where my grandmother and stuff like that, but I want to go further. I want to really trace my history. And, the parts of the country that come up, I would love to go and see those places. Maybe film some type of documentary around it, or just film for my own personal records. I would love to see these places, eat at these places, walk around. I don't know, just take it in. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many people that I didn't get a chance to meet. They were already gone before I got here. So I really want to put my story together in terms of my family, like my lineage, and understand where I came from. Like, I understand to a degree, but I know there's so much more to unlock. So I would love to do that. Like, that's a project I would love to just do. You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like, because of where I live right now, it'd be really easy to get to those places. I feel like that my family is more so like Midwest in the South. So it'd be easy to have a road trip to explore those places where my family is from. So that's one thing. And then, is there something else? Oh, I would love to have a streaming service. I've always wanted to have my own streaming service. So yeah, that's like a pretty big thing for me at the top of my bucket list. The next one, Key is back. The era of Key. Key said, did you tell Steph and Tasha you were moving? Absolutely. They were probably I think I told them maybe that they were like the second or third. I think I told my parents first. Then I told them next. I think they were like second. I told them next. Yeah. So they knew I was moving. Yeah. How often do you plan on visiting your family? I'm going back home June 19th and I'll be out there. June 19th and I'll be in California until July 9th. I might extend my stay though. I might stay longer. So I plan on, I'm going from June to July, and I'll be back for Christmas. I'll be back for Christmas. My parents may be coming here in August. So, how long were you, and how long have me and my honey been together? We have been together since, I met her April of last year. We've been together since August of last year. Do I want kids, and would you carry? I've always had a desire for like motherhood. And I also became okay with carrying as well. But recently, I would say within the last like 4 to 6 months, I have really started to think differently about motherhood. I took a step back from it, and a part of me has really felt like, did I want motherhood because it's what women are supposed to do? I started to kind of question in that way. Because for me, it's like I've had such a good mom that it's like I feel like I also wanted to be a mom because she was a good mom. And I feel like I'd be a good mom. And I still feel like that. But do I really want to be a mom, though? You get what I'm saying? And I also know that there was part of me that was really wrapped up in motherhood because as a masculine presenting woman, society kind of like frowns upon that. Like, I cannot tell y'all how many times I've told people that I wanted to carry and they gave me like major side eye. And I'm like, what's the big deal? You know? So I don't know. I'm kind of at a crossroads with the whole motherhood thing. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like a priority right now because I just want to focus on like my move and what I'm doing creatively, getting projects off the ground, traveling. I want to focus on that and like tapping into other things. But who knows? At like 43, 44, 45, could things change? Maybe. It's possible. We'll see. I'm just being open and honest with myself though, you know. So the next question, Markeisha said, what are your hobbies? Cooking, audiobooks, podcasts, listening to playlists, creating playlists. Those are things I absolutely love. And I also love watching the Lakers, y'all. I can sit and watch the Lakers forever. I can watch old games, documentaries, YouTube clips. I love a lot. I sit and watch a lot of Kobe highlights. Like, I'm a huge Laker fan. Huge, huge, huge. Juju said, what made you move to Ohio? I kind of answered that a little bit earlier, but you know, Ohio, man, the cost of living is very appealing as someone who lives in a state that is on the higher end of cost of living. So I feel like being here really allows me to reach my financial goals and also have my space at the same time. I think that if I stayed in California, because for me, it's like when I decided to move out of my parents' house, I didn't feel like that meant that I had to live anywhere. I still had standards and places that I wanted to live, certain cities, you know, it got to be a certain kind of place, certain kind of vibe. I'm not just going to live anywhere. You get what I'm saying? And that probably would have meant that I had to get a roommate, which there's nothing wrong with that. However, I was in a space where I'm like, I want my own place by myself. I don't want to live with anybody. And, you know, Ohio really gave me a chance to really do that and not spend as much money, you know, like it was much easier furnishing my apartment. Like I can't even imagine, like if I would have lived on my own in California, all the money that it would have taken, the upfront costs to move in, whether your deposit, first and last, whatever the setup is, I would have paid, I don't know, at least probably, I would have paid at least $4,000 out of pocket just trying to move into the apartment. So that's not even any furniture at all. And that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So Ohio really gave me an opportunity to, again, lower my expenses significantly in terms of my cost of living. Made it much easier to furnish my apartment, and I can really reach my financial goals without having to give anything up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to have a roommate. I didn't have to do any of these things. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like in California, it's either pay rent, okay, let's say I live by myself. It's either live in this place and focus on making sure you have enough money to pay for this place you're living in. And I would have had to put my financial goals on the back burner because it's hard to do both at the same time. You know, if I'm paying $3,000 in rent by myself. So yeah, the cost of living is appealing. The ability to travel to places much quicker is very appealing to me. Experiencing all of the seasons. The healthcare system is very appealing as well. I've had multiple doctor appointments out here, and it was easy. It was easy to call and just get an appointment. Even my therapist is out here. I had my therapist out here before I actually moved. I've been seeing my therapist since November. So, and I hadn't decided to move at that point, but I figured let me tap into the Ohio system because, you know, it's a place that I know that I'll be going back. I hadn't decided to move yet. So I knew that I'd be going back and forth. So I'm like, let me see if I can find me a therapist that'll give me virtual sessions. And I found a therapist very quickly. So access to care is a huge part for me. I know I said that before, but like for real, it's a huge part. But being so much closer to so many things is so appealing, y'all. Like I'm thinking about some of the trips that I've taken from California, and once you have a delay, because you're already going to take 5 or 6 hours to get from one end of the country to the other end, like flying from California to New York, California to Florida, like it's 5 or 6 hours, you know what I'm saying, to get there. And if you have a delay, a layover, oh my goodness, like if you're laying over 3 or 4 hours in between, your whole day is just traveling. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling again, but y'all get what I'm saying. The last question is from Elizabeth Gonzalez. I think I answered this question already. She said, well, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but maybe there are others who are thinking this. I'm going to just say it. She says, just in case. Okay, she said, I'm sorry, I'm reading this. Okay, would you stay living in, just in case things don't work out with you and your girlfriend, would you stay living in that state, or would you go back to LA to your family? No, I'm gonna still live here. I'm gonna still live here. I am building a life out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm building a life. I'm building friendships, connections, relationships, networking, opportunity, like all of that. I'm building a life here. So no, even if we broke up, I would not move. I wouldn't. No, I would continue to stay here and explore and try things and continue to meet people like I've already been doing. So no, I wouldn't move. Like, that's what I'm saying. So there's so many other things attached to my move besides my relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying my relationship has nothing to do with it, because again, my relationship laid the foundation for me to even consider moving, you know? But it wasn't the like, okay, I'm moving for love. Like, I'm moving to go be with my baby. You know, it's like, yeah, like I'm so happy that I get to see her all the time, but there's so many other things that come along with the move. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even if we didn't work out, I would still for sure live here. Like, I wouldn't break my lease. I wouldn't just throw my, just like take my things on a moving truck and move them back across country. Like, no, like I'm telling you, the cost of living, I'm not giving this up. I'm not giving this up. Nah, I can't. Because it's like, this is just, it's just a no-brainer for me, like it's a no-brainer for me, because again, I have goals that I want to reach. And when you lower your expenses the way that I've lowered things, by making this move, I'm not giving that up. I'm not giving it up for nobody, baby. I'm not. So those are all of the questions. That's everything everybody asked me. If y'all have any more questions, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Hopefully I answered everybody's question. I think I got to everything. If I'm not mistaken, I did. I don't think I skipped over anything. But thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank you so much for the questions, and for being here with me. I appreciate y'all for being with me on this journey. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make the best of the day, y'all. Be good to yourself. Peace.
I be beaming, I be booming down that block. Everywhere you go, they know I'm hot.